Welcome back. This is Toni Wade, the Compassionate Investor, and we are here with Te'ara Rman. Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am wonderful. I'm so glad that you are here on this show. And let me just tell y'all, like, Te'ara and I are connected.
We are.
Because of, one, our purpose.
Absolutely.
Which is most important. But also you'll hear toward the end, as we talk about where we're going, you'll get to see some of that exciting stuff. So I'm just excited to have you on the show here talking about some of the stuff you're doing. And most of our audience, they don't know who Te'ara Rman is. So share with us just a brief overview of who you are in business, and we'll talk about some personal stuff.
Okay, so who I am in business. So we can talk about the titles. I'm excited, y'all, because I'm trying to get away from it. So Te'ara in business, Te'ara is a author, Te'ara is a purpose coach, and for those of you trying to figure out what that is, I am a life coach with a twist of purpose. So I like to coach others to their purpose, not just to their life, because sometimes you got to figure out what it is that you're here for, right? What your life is about. So I am a creator and podcast host. I am a international speaker. I'm an MC. You name it, I do it.
I love it.
Actually.
and I aspire to be some of those things. So I look to you as the expert in this, because, you know, it ain't easy doing this. I'm going to let y'all know. It might look easy.
No.
It ain't
y'all,
easy.
I'm not an expert. Now, I'm still learning too.
We're all a work in progress.
Yes.
And I look up to her as someone who's been doing this a lot longer than me. And you're building a beautiful following of people who understand what it is that you're wanting to accomplish in their lives as you are evolving in yours. So on a personal side, I know, right?
Personal.
I'd like to know more about who you are as a person and get to know some of that. So share some of that with us.
Who as a person? Well, first and foremost, I'm a wife and a mom. My family is everything to me. Everything will stop when it comes to them. I love spending quality time with them. It's very important. I'm starting to get that work-life balance, starting to figure out what it really means and how it really makes sense. Outside of that, I'm just a laid-back person, girl from the north side of St. Louis, born and raised. And I love helping others. I love spending time. I'm adventurous. I love zipline. If you have never ziplined before, go ziplining. If you're adventurous, ziplining is one of my favorite things to do. Yes.
So I'm gonna just share a moment. So I
what
did
happened?
it.
What
it
happened?
was not cute. So if you've ever been to Vegas, at the old Vegas, they got that zip line, and you could choose whether you want the one where you're sitting there just holding it, or you open up wide like this. Which one do you think I did?
The open wide.
I had to, because my son talked me into it, and I'm just gonna say, from the moment I hit that line and they let that thing go to the very end, I screamed at the top of my lungs. Everybody, my husband said all he saw was people were watching this crazy woman screaming from one end to the other. But I had to do it because my son wanted me to do it. But yeah, I don't usually do stuff like that, but that inspires me. Maybe you can sort of help pull me along some more. So you probably like the rides and stuff like that too, on the roller coasters?
Some of them. I'm not too big on the roller coasters anymore because they don't make them like they used to.
Yeah, true.
They don't make them like they used to.
True.
But I can. We gonna do some more zip lining.
We'll have to do some of that.
Yeah, we can get used to it.
And this is us getting to know each other personally too, because being in business, you know, a lot of people feel that you always have to be on.
Yeah.
And I heard you talk earlier about work-life balance.
Yes.
That's very hard when we're used to being on all the time.
Yeah.
So can you talk about that a little bit?
It's forever changing. So let me say this. I don't think there's ever just a perfect formula to work-life balance, because you continue changing, you continue to level up, you continue to grow into new chapters. So you may get it for a while, but then when you start changing, your work-life balance has to change, right? So I'm finding now that it's a little easier and I'm getting better at it. For instance, me, my husband, and my son just came off a 10-day vacation, y'all.
What?
Never heard of.
Did you open the laptop at all?
No. So let's talk about that. I did not take my laptop, and my husband thought I had it. And when we got to the airport, he was like, "Where's your laptop?" I don't have it. I didn't take my laptop. I wasn't on social media. I just enjoyed the peace and serenity. We started off with a road trip. We dropped our son off in Dallas with some friends, with his aunt, and had a good time there. Then we came back to St. Louis, got on a plane and flew to Miami. And the only work I did was, we flew in our favorite cameraman,
Our
TC
favorite
Graphics.
cameraman.
We flew him in to cover a birthday. It was for a birthday trip, and we took a yacht ride, and we flew him in, and we actually did a couples episode, which I can't wait for all of you to see. And the exciting thing about it is, my husband likes to stay in the background, but he's actually in the front of this episode. He's talking. He has this big old smile on his face that everybody was pointing out.
Wow.
And it was just the peace, serenity, the excitement, not to have to worry about work or anything else for 10 days. And when I tell you, I didn't even try. I didn't even make the post that I was on vacation. Actually, I reached out to Tina, and Tina made the post for me on my business page. Didn't touch a thing.
Wow. Now that, I'm telling you, if you're in business for yourself, that's probably one of the hardest things to do, is to keep that laptop closed, let somebody else handle them phone calls, and you have that balance.
Yeah.
Because you owe it to yourself.
You do. And it's big. The other thing is, I'm a bookworm. I love to read. I'm reading every day, even if it's just a chapter here or a chapter there, no matter what it is. We definitely have to learn some lessons. So we got to read some books about growing and moving to the next step. But I love those ratchet books, those hood books. Because guess what? You learn a lot. And sometimes you see yourself in those situations, right?
Yeah.
And even though it's a book, it's just good to get lost in somebody else's world sometimes.
Exactly. And actually, I'm glad you shared that, because a lot of the reading that I do is always professional development, personal development, something related to growing a business. But I just recently picked up a book. It wasn't a ratchet one, but you might have to recommend one for me.
Oh, I got you.
But
I got you.
I'm reading this one called Last Summer, which is very interesting. And I ain't gonna tell you how long I've had the book.
That's okay.
But we're getting through it. Put it that way, because I want to have that work-life balance, because it's so imperative. It's so important when you are in business for yourself to create that.
You have to.
So I'm so glad you have given us the opportunity not just to hear about who you are in business and the things you've done with as being an author and leading your own podcast and having your own show, but that personal side of you and what really makes you tick and what you're doing for yourself on a daily basis. So that's really good. As we go forward, we want to talk and learn a little more about some of the things that she has done, and we'll be back in just a moment.